Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening. It's Bonolo Maboja, and tonight, Thursday, because I am speaking to one gentleman that I have since met at, I think the first time I met this gentleman, it was this year at this other workshop for upcoming artists in Limpopo. He goes by the name, I think his stage name is Mahlatze Vokal. His song is Msadi wa Waitata, Msadi wa Waitlompa, Msadi yo. Hi, Potero. Oh, here you are, Mahlatze.
Yes.
I would say, firstly, let me just finish my intro and then I can welcome you officially. You see?
Acknowledge, I'm trying to make it work.
Okay, no problem. But the first time I met Mahlatze, he was at this workshop where I think Sipo Hot Sticks was also there.
Yes.
At that event, you remember, at Polokwane Library. And you were dressed to, like you were dressed to. I even complimented you and I said, you look stunning for this event. But I've obviously watched you from that day on your, after every gig, I always watch you and I'm like, this guy is actually always on point with his.
Yeah.
And so I thought, a lot of young artists, when you invite them for a gig, especially when they're still starting out, they tend to, what's the word? They tend to, I don't know if they take advantage or maybe it's just a thing of not feeling like they belong. Yeah. However, they don't come dressed for the part. And I know I'm saying this with my gibberish outfit. However, looking at the pressure that you're putting me on right now, because you look the part. And so I guess that's why I've invited you here tonight, so that we can just talk to you about building your brand as a young artist, as a upcoming artist, but to also have the conversation about how far you have come as an upcoming artist in South Africa, where you started out up till today. So because you are here, welcome.
Thank you so much. Am I visible enough?
Yes, I can see you.
Am I audible enough?
Okay. Perfect.
Cool.
So, who's Mahlatze Vokal and where does he come from?
I always say Mahlatze is 100% employed by Passion Man, hailing all the way from Seshego in Masakaneng, Zone 1. So I was born in the early 80s, and I grew up in the township of Seshego. And then I moved to Johannesburg when I was doing my tertiary life, and but I'm basically, a lot of people know me as an artist, a fashion icon, fashion guru, 3-time award winner for the Limpopo Music Award. So yeah, I'll explain further. Yeah.
You are that guy. Mara Mahlatze, you were born in the early 80s.
1981.
Are you not turning?
1981, on the 15th of June, I'll be turning 41.
Lies. You know, when I posted your picture on my WhatsApp, people were like, so how old he is? I'm like, guys.
They were asking how old I am.
They were asking how old are you? And I'm like, please, I'm also going to confirm. So you were born, you're okay. When did you start your music journey and how did it start for you?
Okay, so at home, my older brother, who's 5 years older than me, used to love hip hop, and he used to play a lot of hip hop in the house. And then my father, on the other hand, he was a soul man. He's the guy who used to play like a lot of your Manhattans and a lot of gospel as well. So this happened obviously in my, childhood, but at the age of 13, that's when I was more interested into the music scene. And then I started doing hip hop, which was my brother playing. And then only when I was 16, I was introduced to a church choir, because I also used to imitate a lot of these musicians that my father used to play. And with that being said, I should believe, or from that very age of 13, 14, somewhere around there, that's when I actually started my music journey. Because if I recall very well, at school, from high school, Gomehlakaneng, I used to perform a lot when we have school pageants, the community pageants as well, places like Waterland, when it was still ran as a water place where we used to swim. There was a guy called Mr. Wright, Willie Mohawk, his soul rest in peace. He used to stay opposite my house. So he used to hear me singing and rapping, and then he said to me, I want you to come and perform at one of the events that I do at the community. I started touring around the whole of Seshego and Polokwane. Most of the high schools knew me as a singer, as a rapper. And then at my church, International Assemblies of God, people started seeing me there singing. And then, yeah, so basically my journey started there. Obviously, up until I went to Joburg in the year 2000. And then when I was studying civil engineering, I was still interested in music, because when I left home in Polokwane, I told my mother that I want to study music, but she refused, of course. And then when I was that side, as I was studying civil engineering, I also did a lot of your music auditions, and then I got professionally into the music scene in 2004.
2004?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And so, Mahlatze, when you went for your first gig, I don't know which one it was.
From my?
Were you your first gig?
Oh, yes.
Your first. Were you conscious of your image, what you would want people to perceive you as while you were on stage, or it's a thing that you built from, from gig to where you are today?
Okay, so I do have a track of my my journey of music, yeah. So if some people maybe would probably know Zone 1 Masakane, where I come from, they would know that that place was more like a rough place in Yana, one of those places where people would stab you, stuff like that. So my father was very strict, was a very strict man who always wanted to keep me in the house, right? When I was always in the house, and consider the fact that I was from Seshego, we were denied, a few people were denied to get a space at some of the multiracial schools like your Capricorn, Peps, and you name them. So my father kept me in the house, go to school and come back into the house. So one of the things that I did the most was to watch TV. And when you're watching TV, because I loved music, I was always inspired by all the rappers from America, all the musicians from America. You're talking from Michael Jackson to Manhattans to Tupac and Snoop. So they inspired me so much that I always wanted to dress like them, be like them, rap like them, and sing like them. And my first attempt, or rather my first time when I went to a gig, I made sure that my sister was staying in Joburg. I made sure that I dressed to the part, especially I started as a rapper instead, not as a singer. So I started making sure that I dress the way that I see these guys on TV. Your big FUBU t-shirt, bandanas, back in the days, do-rag as well. So people, even those who knew me as a rapper, I mean, you've got people like your Sibutani who stays on my street, your Julius, your Leboho, who used to say to me, America. America, American, you know, because I used to dress so much like Americans. Only later when I got into the singing part, I then started trying to understand, or from being a rapper to a singer, it also means you must shift the way that you dress, because rappers used to dress things, but singers used to dress, you know, more modern, you know, proper shirts, you know, a few tie, you know, stuff like that. So I was always very conscious about how I dressed, and because also my father was a fashion guru. He was a guy who used to dress very well when he went to his meetings, when he went to work as well. And I've got also my sister who's a fashion designer. So I guess it was then a family of always wanting the best when it comes to how we look. And image for me has always been important. So I grew it. Yeah.
Would you say that does it have any influence on, I mean, now how you present yourself, right? Do you think it has any influence on how then what do we call them? The event planners take you seriously as an artist and also as a brand?
Very correct. I always tell people that as much as you could be good with whatever that you're good at, in terms of talent especially, a lot of people are good DJs, a lot of people are good, you know, singers, a lot of people are good rappers, you name them. But when it comes to brand is a very important aspect of our business, because I would give you an example about Coca-Cola. There are a lot of other beautiful drinks that is better than Coca-Cola. But I can tell you now, that the way Coca-Cola has branded themselves, every time when you're thirsty, the first thing that you think of, it's that red can, it's that red something, you know what I'm saying? So how I branded myself when it comes to image, it's something that I invested upon myself to an extent that it became second nature to me. Where else, after that, when people are booking me on their events, they already know that at least if I was to charge, for argument's sake, if I'm charging someone 20 to 30,000 rand, you know, it's easy for them to really take it into consideration, because for the fact that they know that this guy is going to come looking presentable to our event, because probably that money I also use it to buy a new outfit. Probably that money I also use it, you know, to better myself up. I would go for the haircut and beard and all of that every week, because that's how I really take my brand serious, to say, you know, yes, wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm a singer. But people don't really care about that as much. But rather look at the in a sense that when you get to their event, you would even see a lot of people would want to take pictures with you, because people want to be associated with something good, something that has value. So the only way that you put your value in yourself is to also clothe that thing that you carry.
So I guess the next question that I have for you, or should I ask you about your audition for Popstars? Is it the old? Is it the old Idols?
Yeah, it was that. Audition? So you know, South Africa has I don't want to say imitation per se, but South Africa always adopts a lot of things from the States. Yeah. So in terms of that adoption, we had I don't know, I think Idols, before it became Idols, it was Pop Idols. Right?
Yeah.
And then South Africa came up with a concept called Coca-Cola Pop Star. So more likely it was a replica of Idols, but for South Africans. And consider the fact that a lot of Idols, people would go there and audition with songs like, you know, your Shakira songs, your, you know, you name them. But when Popstar came, people even auditioned for Kwaito, which is our South African, you know, some
culture.
Yeah, culture.
Yeah.
So Popstars started in 2002, I think, if I could recall very well. I went to the audition. I was still staying in Joburg with my older sister. I was studying civil engineering second year at that time. I went to Auckland Park. I walked all the way from Hillbrow to Auckland Park. And when I got there, I auditioned. Auditions are auditions, man. I made it for the first round. The second round, I didn't make it, because obviously you always try out. But I got a newspaper article front page. They said this guy was dressed very well. He came to Pop Stars. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. But you know what? We appreciate you. Something like that. I still have the article, and I was very, appreciative for the fact that Pop Idols recognized me. 2003, I'm not sure if Pop Stars came again, but 2004, they came again. Did the same thing. I went, they held the auditions in Midrand. And I used to play a lot of guitar, right?
Yeah.
And for those people that went with me to school, I can see a DJ, one of the best DJs that I know, DJ Aquin. He was
honored.
He was with me at school at Johannesburg Technical College. And I went to the audition in Midrand with my guitar. And on the queue, because we were like so many of us, I think I was number 580 something. On the queue, I kept on singing for the people on the queue. And remember, we are all artists. So I would just start on a tune. When I was busy with the tune, people would just, throw in voices, throw in verses, freestyling, almost freestyling for singers. And when I was doing that, Preston at the time, they had a group. I'm not sure they won a previous year. He's now known as Press. Press wa Tojanaya Yatisili, the guy who sings. So Press was given a task by Zwaibala and them who were the judges. They said to him, one of the fun thing that we need to do is that go to the queue and find us one of the best in the queue and bring him in the audition room so that we can, quickly do that. I mean, you can imagine from number 500 and something, they came and picked me up from the queue. They made me skip the whole 500 to go to the audition room. And I also made it.
And then that's how you went on to become this gentleman. Mahlatze Vokal.
So that audition, I went from the first round, second round, third round, fourth round, we then went to the camp. So at the camp, where I was chosen as the top 15. I was under the top 15 of South Africa's best artists, singers, so you name them. And we went to the camp. And when we were at the camp, there were males and females, 15-15. And I made it for the first round again, and then I was now in the top 10. So because that time they were also looking for groups, on the top 10 part, because I kept on singing with my guitar, that's how I qualified as a top under the top 10. But now a lot of people then decided to notice me because of my guitar and my dress sense. And and after that, a lot of record companies kept on calling me and saying, look, we need you, we need your talent and all of that. But I was very learned about what the music industry business is all about at the time even. So what I only did was I had a few managers who at least started branding me to go to a lot of different colleges, tertiaries, vet universities, you name them. I kept on performing those places as the guy from Pop Stars, the guy with the guitar from Pop Stars. You know what I mean? So that's where the journey of my music profession came from. And I remember, which probably could go into your next question, but I will just answer it before you ask it. I was this guy with the guitar who then performed at different tertiary institutions in high school. And when I was performing at what do you call it? Vets Tech. At this point in time, then it was Vets Tech.
Yes.
But since it was Vets, now it's what, UJ, ne?
I think they call it UJ. I'm not sure.
So back then it was Vets Tech. And then what I did was I was sorry, I'm just doing something quickly.
Okay, no problem. Bruh. Oh, you know some of the names that you use. I'm like, hey, now calculate 2000.
So yeah, in 2004, I went to Vets Tech in Auckland Park, the Bunton Road campus.
Yes.
While I was performing there, they used to have this thing called lunch hour at the amphitheater. While I was performing there, some little boy came to me and he said to me, "Look, I've watched you on TV, Pop Stars. I think you are very brilliant." And this guy, his name is Donald. They mostly know him as Donald I Deserve. He came to me and said, "I love how you did your stuff on TV, yada yada yada. I want you to I want you to mentor me. I want to be like you. I want to, whatever." So I've always been one of the guys that loves to help people.
Wait, are you talking about the Donald that we know?
Yes, the Donald that you know, Donald Mahlatze.
Hey, man. Okay.
So Donald came to me that year and said, "I really want you to be. Yeah, I want you to be my mentor. I want to sing with you. I want you to help me."
Yeah, sure.
And because of, for a lot of people who know Donald's character, they would know he's very persistent. He kept on, calling me. I gave him my numbers that day because he came to me at backstage after my first performance. Then he kept on calling me. I think that day alone, after I gave him my numbers, he called me more than 5 times until I said to him, "Let's meet in Braamfontein and talk." And then there was another guy. His name is Pleasure. For those who know me, that I used to have a group called Music. He came to me at school. When I was studying civil engineering, he was studying quantity survey. He came to me and said, "I always see you at an auditorium with your guitar and piano. I want you to help me with music. I love music so much." And I said, "Not a problem."
Yeah.
And I did not really know as how I'm going to mentor them, but these were the guys that every time when I would go anywhere, I would call them with. So one day on the 15th of October in 2004, we were called, I was called at my school when we had Miss JTC, which was now converted into CJC, Central Johannesburg College. So I was performing there as my school recognized me as the guy from Pop Stars with a guitar. So I then called Pleasure and Donald to come watch me perform.
Yeah.
But as they were watching me perform, I felt the need to call them on stage after my first song. I called them both on stage because obviously we used to spend a lot of time together in terms of, they would know what I do in terms of rehearsals and stuff. So I called them on stage. They jumped on stage with me. Pleasure also used to play guitar and Donald used to play piano. And from that day onwards, 15th of October in 2004, that's when I decided we are forming a group called Muso.
You and Donald.
Me and Donald and Pleasure. And a lot of people in Joburg, they used to know us as those guys who sing R&B in Sepedi and Setswana. So as the founder and the mentor for these two guys, we then formed a group. We started performing. I no longer then performed alone. I started performing with them. A few more places in Joburg. I mean, we went almost everywhere. People know Melville. We did a lot of Melville events as well. And only I think during that year, 2005, we then met up. We met Silalo Solota, who was then our producer and our record company, and we got signed. And then officially on the 15th of October 2005, we released an album as Muso, which was myself, Donald, and Pleasure. And that was the beginning of professional journey. And it was an independent record company.
And that's how Musadi wa Itata became a hit, ne?
Yes. Musadi wa Itata was composed by Pleasure, Pleasure Letwalo, who's from Leboagomo. And I assisted in the writing of Musadi wa Itata. Me and Pleasure wrote it together. And Donald was one of
Oh.
the guys who used to arrange our voices. He's very good when it comes to vocal arrangements and all of that. And Mosadi wa Huitata, when it was then composed and written, only 2005 we put it in studio. We laid it down. Slylo put up his band and we produced it. And Mosadi wa Huitata was born on 2005. Till today, Mosadi wa Huitata sounds like new.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, it's the song. Now we have to wrap up. I mean,
so quick, yeah.
If you were to, looking back at where you came from, what are the tips? I know we spoke about, you know, your dress sense, but what other tips can you share with someone who's an upcoming artist? I picked your dress sense, and I also picked the fact that you're always on time for gigs. But obviously, you have your own tips that are working for you as this brand that you've become over the years. What are those tips that you can share with someone who's also building themselves as a brand, as an upcoming artist?
Okay, so a lot of us has people that we're looking up to, you know, within our different fields. One thing that I always query about DJs, I'm sorry, but I'll have to speak about them before I go into my tips. One thing that I've started a company in 2010 called Muso Legacy. Ne? Muso means a musician. The legacy part about it, it's obviously, you know, obvious that, you know, this is what needs to be done. But I always ask myself that every time when you are asked, who do you want to be like when you're a child, when you're asked, who do you want to be like in terms of, you know, the world of the music industry? A lot of our kids chooses international artists. International artists are people who look after their brands. And simply because, yes, one guy like Kanye West has about 15 managers, somebody who takes care of his wardrobe, somebody who takes care of his speech, the way that you talk, the way that you handle yourself in public, somebody who takes care of what he eats, somebody who takes care of his hair, you know, things like this are very light, but they're actually part of what your branding is all about. I said to myself, why is no one choosing any of our South African artists? Simply because when they call you as a South African artist, you wear a t-shirt, a white t-shirt and a jean and you go to a gig. Truth be told, you're gonna find 10 more guys wearing the same as you. So it doesn't give you that quality as to, you know, when you enter the place, they must already know that, wow, you know, the reason why today I wore this on your interview is because tomorrow somebody's gonna see something yellow. There's no way that they cannot think about me.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? Because it's something that will say, you know, I saw somebody with a yellow, but if I take it off, chances are, yes, because of my hairstyle, you will also probably remember. But if it was not because of my hairstyle, I'm just wearing black and white. And what makes me different as an artist? Nothing, you see. So yeah, it's just those little things that matters a lot. So a lot of DJs as well, they've got their desks, yeah? I see a lot of American DJs. I mean, you have your desk with your, what do you call them, CDJs. And on the side, they have a keyboard. On the other side, they've got a microphone. On the other side, they've got something. You know, while they're DJing, someone is composing a song while you're doing that, you see. So that's another tip where, in terms of professionalism, you know that if this person has charged you 20, 30,000, there's this thing that they brought, you know, because we unfortunately doing a lot of, the same thing as artists, but you need to make sure to find that something, a little something that makes you different. You know, with me, I chose the way that I dress, but at the same time, I'm also very conscious about my time. I'm also very conscious about songs. Sometimes it's not about what you have rehearsed and say, this is what I'm going to give people, but you must also play by ear. Remember, they calling you at an event, whether a wedding or any other event for that matter. People want to enjoy that event and to make it memorable. So I will go beyond to ask what the client needs. What song do you love? What song can I practice for you? But even when I practice that song, I'm not going to do it the same way that the artists have done it, but I'll do it my way so that you can remember me, not the artist per se. You know what I mean? Time is very important. You know, with black people, they'll tell you we're starting at 1, but the truth is they'll end up starting at 4.
Yeah.
Do not have that attitude and complain. I always tell people that before positions of the world, we are all human. So a lot of celebrities, artists, and DJs and whatnot, they like thinking as if they are, you know, they get to an event, they start demanding all this, you know, funny champagnes. And at the end of the day, if you're not able to cater for them, they start telling you, we're only here for 30 minutes and we leave. And this thing of taking 5 gigs in a day, like I said, nowhere I've went where they said they're starting at time and they don't start at time. Professionalism, yes, is for making people, you know, connecting with people. So be professional enough to know that you must connect with people, because that's where you get your next bread. That's where you get your next. So time, the way that you dress, professionalism, the way that you speak to these people, practice those little things. The way that you're going to say hello to them, practice it. Don't just, you know, get and then think everybody knows you and all of that. Introduce yourself. Get your business cards. Look for another business. Tell them, you know, negotiate. It's not all the time where you said, yes, I need 20,000 and they'll give it to you. You know, somebody could easily say, look, I'll give you 15,000, but I promise you, because Motsepe is going to be at my wedding, I'm sure you'll probably get another booking. Take those kind of bookings because they build you. Sustainability. In 2010, May, I resigned from construction.
Yeah.
2010, May, till today, I call it 12 years at most. Maybe let's make it 11 years. I'm doing music full time. There's absolutely nothing that I'm doing aside from music. I don't have a 9 to 5. My 9 to 5 is music. I was able to achieve a lot of things that I couldn't get when I was doing construction. Now when I'm doing music, you know, I know a lot of artists, they have this thing, they call it to fall back on. It means you are trying to fall back. You
guilty as charged.
No. I'm a qualified civil engineer to do construction. Yes, I will do it in my own time whenever I want to do it. But at this point in time, I'm focusing on music. I get a lot of, you know, opportunities where they say, hey man, come and submit your tender, come and do this. I'm not that guy. It's not that I judge anybody that does it, but if I give my 100% attention to what I'm doing now, I will get 100% results. So that is another thing that maybe a lot of upcoming artists, they don't want to, you know, focus on what they're doing because they're simply saying to themselves, what if this doesn't work? And then I will do this. So the minute you have that, it is an anticipation. You're obviously in the spirit world calling for your fallback type of thing. So rather, and invest as well. I mean, you know, for the longest time, a lot of guys that works with me, they know that I'm always, you know, I would buy in a microphone, I would buy headsets, I would buy a keyboard, you know, because I'm investing into my brand and my product. You know, next time when you see me, you shouldn't feel like you've seen me again last week. So it should be, I should come out new all the time. And hence, even now, when I have designers, I make sure that, you know, they dress me differently when I go to a different gig.
Sure. Mahlatze, I couldn't thank you enough for your time this evening, for, you know, coming to talk about your journey as a musician, but also I've watched you as an individual being this person who has impressed me. Like, I've been impressed from day one.
Thank you so much.
With your, you know, and just before because I know your birthday is coming up
next
soon.
week.
Next week. Yeah, are you throwing any party? What's happening?
I normally throw parties, but this time around I'm turning 41. I think I'm a groot man now, you know. I'll probably just have you know, my family and you know, 3 more people maybe just to celebrate the day with. I call it dinner at least, you know. I'm not gonna be the guy who parties until 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll just probably celebrate it with very close people in my life.
That's wonderful, man. I wanted to also send you my well wishes for your upcoming birthday, and also to say that we are proud of you, Kamusio. By the way, are you also still in Sishiro?
Yes, I'm Sishiro Zunwan, Masakaneng. I'm there.
So this is literally this is a conversation happening to Maharishan, to neighbors. I'm in zone 3, right?
Sure, Maharishan. Mike.
All right, Mahlatze, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you so much.
I wish you the best in your journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it was great meeting you, and keep doing what you're doing. It's an inspiration as well to be acknowledged while you're still alive by very close people in your life.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Have a lovely night. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.